host of the show. That pretty gentleman over there is Kurt Anderson. And then we have Aya Takase here with us today. And we're going to be talking about the Industrial Marketing Summit 2026 and what Aya is going to be talking about there. Kurt, I am so excited because Aya's a scientist and it's always fun to get to talk to people. So Kurt, take it away, man.
Damon, I am so excited, man. Like, I didn't sleep a wink. I don't know. Did you get any sleep last night? I was like super fired up for this. I'll catch up on sleep over the weekend, but What an absolute honor, privilege. Aya, thank you for joining us today. I know you're super busy. We're going to kick things off. I have a couple questions for you. Did you get a good night's sleep last night, by the way? How was your sleep?
I did. Not enough, but I did.
Never enough. All right, so let's rock and roll. Are you sitting down? Are you ready to get started? Are you good?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Okay, my first question for you. Now, to my understanding, you are born and raised in Japan. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay, when you were a little girl growing up, which wasn't that long ago.
It's a long time ago.
Who was your hero? Who did you look up to? Who just showered you with unconditional love? Who was your hero when you were a little girl growing up in Japan?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, curious minds would love to know more. Please do share.
So my grandfather was an engineer, and mechanical engineer, actually. And he was pretty much the only science and tech person in my family. And nobody else shared my love for science but him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I learned a lot from him. We would do like a math homework together, science homework together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
He was my hero.
He was your hero. And what and Grandpa's name, please?
Chitose Takase.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, big shout out to Grandpa. Absolutely love it. So now you just had that fire burning inside you. Now, though you're a marketer today, do I have that right? You're a scientist by trade. Can you please share a little bit on your education, your background? Damon, you know, when I was talking about, like, I love when I won't speak for you, when I'm the dumbest guy in the room, like right now, I'm definitely the dumbest guy in the room. Aya, share a little bit on your education, your background.
Okay. So I went to school in Japan, and I went to Tokyo University of Science to study physics.
Nice.
I did undergraduate and graduate. I wanted to go for PhD back then. This is going to date me, but more than 20 years ago. But I didn't, and actually I couldn't, for a reason. I hope that some people can resonate with this and get some hope from this. But this is more than 20 years ago in Japan, and I'm a woman. And when I was trying to get to the PhD program, those people around me who cared about me said that don't do it. You're a woman. If you get a PhD, you will never get a job in Japan. They're not going to hire you. That's not a very popular position to be in if you want to get a job. And I didn't want to stay in the academic world forever, though I wanted to study physics a bit more. So I gave up on PhD and got a job at Rigaku. But I always wanted to get PhD. You know, it's just a title probably, but everybody else around me had it. And I really want to get one someday. And I actually did a couple of years ago.
Nice.
So I kept my full-time job, but there was a course at Osaka University that accepted some full-time business people to pursue PhD. So I got PhD in engineering there.
Oh, wow. Now,
cool.
I have to say, so your title, Head of Global Marketing and Communications, you're probably one of the only individuals on the planet that has a PhD as a head of marketing communications.
Yeah,
right?
I doubt it.
So if you don't mind moving forward on the show, we're going to call you Dr. Aya. How's that? So, well, you've earned it. Congratulations. What an accomplishment. Cool. And I'll tell you, Damon, I know that speaks close to your heart. Your mother has her PhD. And so, you know, as proud girl dads, we're both girl dads and we love our mothers dearly. You are an incredible inspiration as a woman fighting relentlessly to get that PhD. So how about a round of applause for Aya?
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and then a PhD in engineering. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's just that is
And yeah, I want to say that, whatever your gender is, it's never too late.
It's never
Yeah.
too late.
It's
Well,
never
yeah.
too late. Yeah.
what an
Yeah.
inspiration. So, all right, tell us a little bit about the company and how do you, and then in a few minutes, I'm going to pull up the website so we can share with folks what you guys do. But just share with everybody, how does Rigaku, right? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
How do you and your company make the world a better place? What are you guys doing?
Okay, I love that question. So Rigaku is a global manufacturer of scientific instruments. And most of the products that we make are based on the X-ray analysis, either X-ray diffraction, fluorescent analysis, but we do electron beam and laser-based analysis instruments too. We are going to have our 75th anniversary next year.
Nice.
We've been
Ooh,
around
that's
for a
cool.
long time. The business started in Japan now 74 years ago as a pretty small, like a mom and pop, machine shop making little instruments. But now we have, I think, over 2,000 employees globally.
Wow.
And the way we try to contribute to the act of making the world a better place is to provide scientific analysis, I guess, capabilities to either industrial users or academic researchers so that they can measure whatever they need to measure to get the answers they need and to make the decisions they need to make things, fix things.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
measure anything from food, peanut butter, pharmaceutical products, semiconductor chips.
Yeah, it's so incredible that you can cover the wide range of industries because of the level of detail you're going down to with your analysis.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like before we got on, you were talking about we look at the molecular analysis or at the molecular level, if I remember right. And everything, when you look at it, that is very important, whether you're making steel or you're making paint or you're making pharmacy or food or everything. It comes down to that chips, as we talked about. Super cool.
What you said is very true because no matter what you observe as a behavior of certain material, it's coming from how those atoms and molecules are arranged inside of it. So,
yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
So, what is I mean, this has to be incredibly interesting, the applications that you get into. So, what are some of the challenges without doing anything you can't talk about? Well, what are some of the cool challenges you've helped people solve with this technology and these processes?
okay, so I have to think about it because there are things I can talk about and things I can't talk
exactly.
about. Let's see. So many years ago, I don't know if you remember or heard about it, but there was an incident on the subway in Japan. I think this was probably 27, could be 30 years ago. There was a group of people who used, I'm trying to make it easy to understand. So there are a group of people who use some poison to hurt people.
Yep.
And also there was another incident where the same thing, there was one person who put a lot of arsenic-based poison in a big pot of curry to kill a bunch of neighbors to get their insurance benefit. And in the second case, the police needed to identify where that arsenic came from. And I didn't notice until I heard about this news, but you can analyze what kind of elements are in a certain material using X-ray fluorescence analysis technique. And they took a tiny bit of scrape of a kitchen sink from this suspect's home and compare the impurities that were included in the arsenic in the kitchen sink to the combination of impurities they found in the pot of curry
Oh my
to
goodness.
prove that they came from the same source.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is
You
really
can do
something.
something like that.
That
And
is
it
really
works.
something.
Man, isn't that
Yeah.
wild? Wow.
But they needed such a high level of sensitivity to do it, and they couldn't, unfortunately, use any of our products that are installed in the regular lab. They
Mhm.
needed to go to a synchrotron beamline facility to get a lot more X-rays to analyze them.
Yeah.
But technique-wise, that's one of the coolest applications I remember.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And when you think of if you're going to produce, I always think of chips because they operate on such a small level, or really anything. I mean, even if you think about the paint that goes on a car or something like that, if you're going to produce billions or millions of gallons of something, or millions of chips or something like that, the molecular level makes a huge difference in the consistency over
Mhm.
time, and you can spot things that you will never see with the eye, and just so much stuff.
And with those computer chips, everything is getting smaller and smaller to stuff more things into smaller
Yeah.
space. Then that resolution becomes more important.
Yeah.
The
Super
tiny
cool.
defect that didn't matter in the past now matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, here, multiple different industries. You mentioned like peanut butter all the way to like little tiny chips. We've got pharmaceuticals, cement,
Yep.
and so all sorts of fascinating things. If you're just joining us here today, we're with Dr. Aya, and so we're diving into not only her company and how she makes the world a better place, but she's Damon. I don't know if you know this. She's at the Industrial Marketing Summit, my friend. And so, man, everybody is super excited. If you're in B2B marketing, you
Yep.
want to be in Austin, Texas in March of 2026. And Aya is going to be one of our speakers. So, okay, let's jump off. Anything else that you want to share about the company or anything else there? And then we're going to slide into the Industrial Marketing Summit.
We do all kinds of X-ray analysis and electron beam and the laser related analysis. And if you have any scientific question or research challenges you think we might be able to help, then please reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Hey, and as a matter of fact, ironically, hey, there you go. And so here's our dear friend, Dr. Aya on LinkedIn. Do yourself a favor, connect with her, and you'll thank us later. Drop her a note, let her know that you're out there, that you're interested in what she has going on. And so now we're going to slide over. We're going to dive into, let's go here. How about this? Hey, Damon.
Yep.
Do you recognize this dear friend here?
I kind of do.
So we have a topic coming up at the Industrial Marketing Summit in 2026, from presentation to performance, crafting binge-worthy webinars for technical audiences. I couldn't love this topic more. Now go to the Industrial Marketing Summit. You can check out the website. I'm going to come back to the website in a minute. Dr. Aya, give us a little. Now, we're not going to. Sorry, guys. You're probably thinking, well, hey, I can listen to this episode and then I don't need to go to Austin. Well, guess what? You need to go to Austin because you've got to see Dr. Aya in person, and everybody else are the wonderful speakers. So we're talking the Industrial Marketing Summit in Austin, Texas. Dr. Aya, give us a little flavor. How did you get in, being the educator that you are? I'm assuming that's how you got into webinars, but just talk a bit about, like, did you attend like a really boring, painful death by PowerPoint webinar? Like, how did this topic come about in your world?
So I just said that I'm originally a scientist, and I had a lot of chances to give a technical presentation, mostly in person, because I've been doing this for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
But then a little bit before COVID, and definitely once we, got into the shutdown period, we switched all our presentations to webinars, not in person anymore. And I was still working in the lab as an X-ray imaging scientist, so I did a lot of webinars during that time. And at the beginning, I realized that this is different from giving a presentation in person, which I have done countless times. I thought I was pretty good at it. Then when I started doing it in online, I thought, well, all the techniques I had for in-person presentations don't quite transfer here. This
Yeah.
means I'm gonna really have to learn how to do this from scratch. So that's when I started watching different people's YouTube, instructions. Went to a lot of webinars. Some were great, and I learned a lot, and some were not so great, and I learned what not to do from those webinars.
I hope she didn't attend ours on that last part, right?
Yeah.
But that's when where I started, with all those webinars, and I was always a presenter for many, many years. Then when I switched to marketing from my scientific position to marketing position, then I switched to training and teaching our scientists at Rigaku to do webinars better. And that was another phase in which I learned a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them tricks, what kind of tricks of how to do it well.
They're just techniques though that you learn and over time really become, I mean, they can become the cornerstones in good presentations that are done in webinars. Yeah.
I think knowing those rules or tricks goes a long way.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, you're going to make those mistakes you should avoid, right? But the other part is it's not easy. Like, I'm not going to lie, I will share a lot of tips I learned over the years, but I would have never said that it's easy. You need to be willing to spend a lot of time and work hard to get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what if, again, without giving away the secret sauce, and of course they need to come to Austin, Texas to catch you live, what are some like painful should never do in a webinar? What are some of those, any tips of like, please don't ever do this? Do you have any tips there?
That would be, don't promote your webinar as an educational webinar. And once you go live, start selling. Don't do that.
Yeah. 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 We're going to teach you about this. And then, hey, buy our product. Yeah.
I mean, even if not that level, you can be talking about some scientific things.
Yeah.
Then there is a difference between showing your product and say, just for your information, this is the instrument we use to collect this data, and move on and say, this is our greatest and the latest model of this analysis technique instrument, and you should buy this one. This is better than the competitors. The second you do it, you just lose your credibility as a scientific figure. So don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
okay,
don't do
great.
that.
All right, phenomenal tip. So now, all right, and you're targeting high level, other folks, engineers, PhD, like you're targeting some really, there's smart people in the room, correct?
I don't know if there are any smarter, but they are science and tech people. Right. I know that a lot of people say, if you're a scientist, you must be smart, but not necessarily. We can make a lot of stupid mistakes, like in the finances.
Right.
Yeah. Social skills could be lacking too.
Social skills could be lacking. That was that was polite, So I think she's talking about us, Neiman. But anyway, so how do you, going from presentation to performance, and again, like maybe, I don't know, entertaining, theatrical, like how do you entertain, or how do you keep smart guys in the room? How do you keep them engaged? So
this is the no-brainer, but not an easy thing. I recommend everybody, try to do. Give the aha moment, and keep doing that throughout your webinar. Because especially for the technical audience, they're geeks. Mm-hmm. They love to understand something new, especially in science and tech. Mm-hmm. And the things they are happy to understand are often very complicated. Mm-hmm. But if you do a really good job explaining something seemingly complicated to help people understand it easily, everybody goes, aha, now I understand. And that feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
people keep watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will leave your webinar feeling, that was fun. I feel like I'm smarter now
Mm-hmm.
because I know something I didn't know before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you want to just keep doing throughout your webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And do you feel, is it in the presentation? Is it in the slides? Is it in the delivery? Is it in your tone, body, like all
It's
the above?
everything.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if your way of articulating something is, on the spot, it's really good, easy to understand. But if you write everything down on your slide with text, that kills your presentation because, too much text on the slide.
Right.
Yes.
Or if you rumble too much,
Right.
that's not good. If your, let's say, illustration of the concept on the slide is off, you don't have a lot of text, you have an image, that's good. But if the image is not quite expressing what you're talking about, then people get confused.
Right.
Being confused, not being able to understand what you're saying, or not being able to follow what you're saying, all those things make people feel bad. And you do not want to do that.
So you're making a great point, because you have the challenge of, it's how do you find the balance? Because when you're doing a webinar, you don't know everybody in the room. If they have their cameras off, you can't read body language. And so you don't want to speak above everybody because, like you said, nobody wants to be the dumb guy in the room. And then you don't want to speak below everybody because they're like, well, I already know all these things. Why, why am I sitting here wasting my time? So it is difficult finding that balance. Is that correct? Or how do you kind of
it is that? Actually, that's one of the common mistakes people make, meaning that you need to know the audience before you prepare the first slide.
Yeah.
If you go live and are wondering, who are those people? Is this the right level? That's too late. You should know the answers to those questions before you prepare the webinar slides.
Yeah. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Do you have any tips on how do you guys, you get the list of people ahead of time? Or are you looking them up on LinkedIn, or what are some tips that you have for?
So there are a couple of different things you can do. Number one, you probably, especially if it's for marketing, you design your webinar episode or series with the targeted audience in mind, right? You don't know who they are. You don't know if they're coming, but you have this ideal audience, persona. Then you design your webinar.
Nice.
Then when you start promoting it, use the right language to attract that audience. And use the right contact list to promote it to, so that your concept of webinar and the ideal audience match. So that's the ideal way to do it, I think. But you're not going to know everything about the audience, and you might be a little bit iffy about certain things.
Right.
You can run polls, you can run survey beforehand. You can run polling during the webinar. One of the things we do at the beginning of our webinars is to ask the audience, and do you own this technique or instrument? Are you using it? Or are you new to this? And we run that poll right at the beginning of the webinar so that the speaker can make some adjustments depending on how novice or professional.
Well, I love it.
That they are. Yeah.
And again, if for anybody just join us, I want to come back to Industrial Marketing Summit. And the one word that I love here is binge worthy. Crafting binge worthy. That is just such moxie. I just love the now again, for our technical folks and we went to your website. So I'm back over here, right? So this could be not the most exciting, we're not targeting, we're not preaching about Taylor Swift to a bunch of teenage girls type thing, right? I don't know if that's, or you're not talking football to myself and Damon, right?
Yeah.
So well, how do you get these? How do you get that excitement? How do we create binge-worthy webinars on say for the manufacturers out there, like, hey, my product's really not that exciting. How do we get people fired up?
And if your audience is technical, explaining things very simply and help them understand a complex concept or theory or method or technique will make your webinar binge-worthy. And I didn't use this term just to get people's attention. I'm glad that you like it. But years ago, when we did a series of webinars explaining X-ray computed tomography technique, and we explain a lot of complicated concepts around it in very easy to understand ways. And I got a message on LinkedIn from somebody who found our recordings on YouTube, and he said, hey, I just found your webinar recordings, and I started watching it and spent the entire afternoon watching all episodes. So he actually binge watched my webinars. And that's when I thought, I didn't think it would be exciting because of the topic.
Yeah.
But he made me realize, this can be exciting to a certain audience.
Nice.
Yeah. Where you really segment your audience well, though, if you're creating content that's very interesting to and really small group of people. And that's more powerful in marketing, first of all, or more powerful in education as well, or whatever you're trying to do, because you can speak directly to something that they want to learn about.
You're right. I was going to say that in marketing, we always said that you need to focus on certain target, right? You cannot say that we are the best for everybody. That never works. And I think a webinar is the same. And education is the same.
Yeah. What I love it with the gentleman that for folks that are giving webinars, and like we're constantly trying to encourage our manufacturers to, do those education pieces or do a webinar. Do you have a tip or suggestion on the actual slide presentation itself? You mentioned we kidded around a little bit about like death by PowerPoint or having a slide with a bunch of.
Oh, I love that TED Talk.
Yeah. So, if we talk about like really getting laser focused and like not the death by PowerPoint, like, do you have any like little tips for folks to put together a nice, healthy, engaging presentation? Any like do's and don'ts that you want to share?
First, I would repeat everything that was discussed in that How to Avoid a Death by PowerPoint TED Talk. If you have not watched it, and follow all the rules. So that's one. Another one is when you give a presentation online, like through a webinar platform, change your visual at least every 30 seconds. A lot of people say that, oh, that's too much. But can you imagine staring at a screen that's still and nothing is moving? And imagine you're watching YouTube video and nothing moves on the screen, and you listen to a monologue, you're going to leave before 30 seconds pass. Yeah. And it's the same for a webinar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how some of the tools have changed too, that where you can actually be in front of the presentation now. And there's just different ways that you can do it and move things around to really keep things moving, like you said.
Keep things moving. And it doesn't mean that you have to change your slide itself. You can create animations that play on your slide. Even, old boring bullet points. Don't show them at once. Just reveal them one by one, and that's changing visual, right?
Yeah.
So
do you ever look back at your presentations from years ago and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I actually did that?
Not the online ones. Still, there are things I want to do better. Now I look at them. But in-person presentations I've done in the last, 25, 30 years, there are a lot of ugly slides I made.
Yeah.
I look at some of mine for the past, I'm going, oh my goodness. You can't even read that thing if you wanted to, you know, it's just not
Yeah.
something
I
you can
know.
do. So
Yeah. Hey, Damon, we got a few comments we should grab here.
yeah, we do. We do. We got someone I know said niche down until it hurts. Think we know who that is right
Oh
there.
yeah,
Thanks.
that's a good
Thanks
one.
for that, Ron. And we also have no show seems to be a big issue. How can you market? No shows seem to be a big issue. How can you market so that the people who sign up will actually show up?
Yeah, great question, Ron. Thanks, dude. Thank you for the questions. Dr. Ia, what do you think about that question there?
So that's a good question, but I'm gonna say that we actually don't worry too much about whether or not people show up live. Because when I think about myself on the audience side of things, I sign up for a lot of webinars. I try to be there live, but in many cases, I'm just busy and there's a schedule conflict and I can't. Then I watch the recording later. So if people watch the recording later, we're happy. If you
Yeah,
can't make
that's a
it
good
live, that's
point.
okay.
Yep.
The importance of the live audience is that I think the speakers perform better when they know, even though they can't see the audience, when they know that a lot of people are on the other side, they just perform better.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I don't recommend running recorded webinar. You want to do this live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't worry too much about it if, 40% showed up or 60% showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing too. I mean, you mentioned YouTube, but it's amazing when you start to really think about and research different people, different even different personalities, talk show people. And there's just so many different ways you can learn, and because there are these techniques that are really, and one of them I remember was you really have to bring a lot of energy when you're on a webinar compared to being in person, right? In person, it's a lot different. There's a lot more body movement you can sense, but on a webinar, it's you really have to bring a lot more energy to them. Yeah. So
For
cool.
that point, my advice is if you're dealing with subject matter experts that are scientists or engineers, not performers, that can be very challenging. And you can't really tell those people you need to act more enthusiastically, and that could go the wrong way. And it's really awkward or something.
Yeah, that's true. You can go off the rails.
Yeah. So for that, what I recommend is don't put them on stage alone.
Yeah.
Ooh, great advice. Yeah.
So as a marketer, you can be the host and you can be running polling, dealing with the chat and the Q&A, the mediated. We actually, whenever possible, have two people additional to the speaker.
Yeah.
So all speaker needs to worry about is to give the good presentation and answer questions. And oftentimes I'm the host on opening the floor and dealing with the chat, Q&A, and all of those things. And we have another kind of technical expert that can mediate the Q&A and make some interesting comments or ask questions. And the reason why I recommend doing this is when you're not alone and you have two colleagues you talk to and work with every day, that relaxes the speaker. And we can talk among ourselves. That's a natural conversation. It's not awkward performance, learned in 3 days by an engineer. So
yeah, so I watched that video, so again, if you're planning webinars or you've been talking about doing webinars for 26 as a marketing strategy, phenomenal. As a matter of fact, follow Dr. Ia here, and she has all sorts of information on just kind of, she sets the bar high on how to do things. And I just had a conversation this week. A gentleman put together a presentation, showed it to me, and it was just all bullet points. And I was just like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm like, you can't show that that slide presentation. Like you can't, because these are my talking points. I'm like, a human mind, what I learned, Dr. Yu, from that video that you're talking about, the human mind can't read and listen at the same time. It is physically impossible.
Yep.
I'm either going to listen to you or I'm going to read your slide, which you have to pick one.
You
So
can't
if
do
you have
them
a lot of
both.
words on a slide, you can't talk because the human mind can't do both.
Yeah.
If you want them to listen to you, have an image, have 3 words, 5 words. But yeah, I I agree with you 110%. So this is priceless. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Priceless.
And like you said before, Dr. I, it's a lot of slides, right? If you want to go 30 seconds, that's something that Kurt has always encouraged. And when you start to do it, you realize how much difference that variation really does. And you may have only a word or two on the slide, because then they can feel the experience by seeing the visual. And then you talk about the subject a little bit, and that's good.
Yeah.
We got another good question here from Ron. What are your measures of success that help you determine whether or not your event was successful?
Great question.
That's a good
Ron.
question.
Thank you.
This gets determined before you actually deliver your performance, but number of registration is something we care a lot about, because whether or not they show up live, there is a good chance that they will watch the recording.
Okay.
And it shows that they're interested in the topic. We promoted the topic the right way, and we chose the right topic. After the event, we monitor how many people watch it afterwards. It's rare that a webinar, one episode, one performance, a webinar generates a lot of leads. We wish it would, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But later, we see customers mention our webinars. And I know that this is not quite measurable, but one of the best rewards you can get from doing webinars is that you go to a conference or even sales call, and the customer you're meeting for the very first time goes, "Oh, we watch your webinar all the time."
Yeah, that's awesome.
That means you don't need to spend a lot of time building the trust with that person.
Yeah.
That's already done.
Yeah.
Even before you met them.
And Dr. I mean, do you feel, is this an accurate statement or not? Webinar typically is not a super heavy lift. When you're diving into a topic, like you said, you're a physicist, PhD, you are the subject matter expert. When you're talking about something that you know inside and out, putting together that webinar, and the thing is, then it's evergreen content that you put out. Do you feel that it's a super heavy lift, or what's your thoughts?
It is a medium to heavy lift for the presenter. Creating slides and changing visuals every 30 seconds, not having a lot of text on it. That means you have to practice a lot. If you have a one slide with 10 bullet points, you just have to read them out loud. That's easy, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't have those, text, that's the speaker's note essentially out in the open.
Yep.
You need to have them somewhere else if you need your notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you need to know when you click what comes up next and what you're supposed to say next. You have to practice a lot to deliver it, right.
Yep.
So it's a medium to heavy lift for the presenter. However, I'm going to put the marketer's hat now. As a marketer, what we noticed is they're willing to do it, subject matter experts. If we ask them to write like a 2,000-word blog articles, they would never do it. They don't have the time to do it. They don't know how to do it. Technical presentation, many of them have done many of them.
Yes.
They feel more confident. They know how to do it, so they go through the hard work and do it. And once they do it, you got the recording. That's evergreen. We always create a written summary version so that the search engines and the AI can read what's in it as well. And for some people, it's easier to skim text rather than spending 45, 60 minutes to actually watch the video.
Yep. And you can again, throwing your marketing hat, you can repurpose the heck out of that webinar, because you could slice it up into 1 minute video, YouTube shorts. You could break it up into like 3 or 4 or 5 minute clips. You can, transcribe it into content or social posts. So I couldn't love this direction more. Kudos to you for really spearheading this. And again, I'm going to come back to the Industrial Marketing Summit. And let me grab that again real quick here. So Damon, let's just talk about this for a second. So if friends out there are new to this, it's March 3rd through March 5th in Austin, Texas. Strongly encourage you check, if you just Google Industrial Marketing Summit, you'll get all the information. Wonderful, incredible speakers. They got Rand Fishkin is one of the keynotes. They've got wonderful workshops coming up, and we've interviewed virtually everybody on this page. We've interviewed, if we haven't already, we're on the cusp. In the next few weeks, we're going to be interviewing everybody. And Dr. Aya, here is your presentation right here. And once again, great idea for manufacturers out there that are thinking about webinars and just not sure what to do, where to start, or how to really conquer this with poise and effectiveness. This is the presentation that you want to catch. So, yeah. Dr. Aya, what questions did we not ask you about webinars or your strategies or tactics for getting great webinars out there?
What are some of the worst webinars I've been to?
What wasn't a guy named Curtin Damon, was it?
No. Sometimes, it's hard to realize that you're doing the same bad things until you see somebody else do it.
Yeah.
So I really recommend people go to other people's webinars, and you can just consume the subject of the webinar, but watch how they do it, the delivery, the slides, how they actually run webinars, and take notes. Because I'm not going to name names, but one of the webinars I went to, I genuinely wanted to learn the technique they were presenting. But they started off talking about how great the company is and how great of products they make. It's fine. Then they started running polling questions, and I thought, okay, now we're getting into the subject. And the polling questions were like, how many years do you think we've been in business? It's still about their company.
Oh my.
And if 15 minutes in, they still haven't touched on the subject I wanted to learn about.
Drop the mic right there. So I couldn't agree with you more. You have to make it about the listener, the attendee. Make it about them. They don't care about you. All they care about is if you can solve their problem, right?
Yep.
And then meanwhile, they got their emails, all piling up, like a Teams messages dinging everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose your audience to those things if you don't keep them there, right?
Yeah. Great advice.
Great advice. I know we're keeping you. Do you have time for? We've got one more question here, Damon.
Sure.
Yeah, and Ron asks, maybe what are some of the best webinars you've attended and what made them great?
I can't think of the exact name of the webinar, but let me see if I can find it. So GoToWebinar, I think they go by GoTo now.
Yep.
Had a webinar about how to keep your audience engaged.
Oh.
And the recording should be available.
Okay.
That was one of the really useful webinars.
Yeah, I've got it down here. So the GoToWebinar people, how to keep your audience engaged. Yeah, we'll definitely.
It was by Cindy. Is it Huggett?
Very cool.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah.
And while you're taking a look at that, Damon, we've got Usman is here today.
Yeah, Usman, thanks for being here today. You were right here at the beginning. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it always. We got into the questions, but thanks for hanging out with us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So welcome that. And okay.
And I put the link to that webinar I just talked about.
Yeah, she shared the link internally, so we can put that out there. Oh yeah, ready to go. We'll drop that in.
Here we go. I've got it right here for you. So visual presentation skills, 5 key tips to sharpen your message.
Yeah.
So you strongly recommend this video clip right here.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. Okay, excellent. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're going to start winding down again. Industrial Marketing Summit. Encourage everybody, go ahead and sign up. Damon, as a matter of fact, we have a little coupon code. If
Yes,
anybody
we
signs
do.
up and they use the word B2B tail, you type in the word B2B tail, we're giving you, we get nothing in return, so we're not selling anything. We don't make a penny on this, but we are sponsoring our friends at True Marketing and Joe and the team at Gorilla 76. And of course, all sorts of wonderful speakers. We love going every year. And so if you do sign up, type in the coupon code B2B tail and you'll get a little discount on your sign up. So Dr. Aya, as we close out, any parting thoughts? As a matter of fact, I have one last question for you. You ready? I do have one last question. I'd love to ask you a question. So your high academic, PhD, all of the above, you mentioned your grandfather, longtime business career. What's the best business advice that you've ever received? What's the best business advice? I feel like you gave a total masterclass. Know your audience, understand your audience, death by PowerPoint, like all these great tips. Is there one particular piece of business advice that you would love to pass on to everybody?
It's all about people.
It's all about people.
It's kind of cliche, but it is.
Yeah. And it shows because like your whole webinar strategy is all about helping the person on the other side. Like you're not making it about you, you're making it all about them. And I absolutely love how you have that approach. And it's not a surprise that you guys are successful with your webinars. So first off, I want to give a huge heartfelt thank you. I know how busy you are. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us, to dive into this. And we cannot wait to catch your presentation in Austin, Texas. And this is going to be a blast. So thank you for joining us. Damon, do you want to?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And it is a really, really good event, the Industrial Marketing Summit. And I want to give a shout out. If you're a marketer in B2B industrial business, you really should go to that meeting.
Absolutely. All the cool kids are going to be there, right? Is that how all the cool kids are going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Damon, why don't you close us out and we'll take it away for today and we'll go from there.
I'll do that. I'll mention Muhammad here. We got another comment from Muhammad. Love from the town in Pakistan. Thanks so much for stopping by today, Muhammad. Thanks everyone else for stopping by, and we appreciate you. We can see you're out there listening. We can see the comments from those. If you got into this late, you definitely want to go back to the beginning and listen to Dr. Aya and her tips about, putting on good webinars that are binge worthy. And then also make sure to get to that Industrial Marketing Summit 2026. And if you're signing up, go ahead and use that B2B tail code and get a little discount before you get there. But you get to go to Austin in March. It's going to be a beautiful time of year to be there and a lot of great people.